Pip's Big Adventure. Pip was a very small puppy with soft, white fur. His little tail would wag excitedly whenever he saw someone he knew. Pip was a friendly puppy. He loved to meet new people and other animals. He lived in a big, comfortable house. The house had a beautiful garden filled with bright green grass. Pip loved to spend his days playing and exploring in the garden. He would sniff all the interesting smells. He chased after colorful butterflies that fluttered among the flowers. Their wings were like painted jewels in the sunlight. One sunny afternoon, Pip was exploring near a large, shady tree. This tree was at the edge of the garden. He spotted something bright red lying on the grass. It was a big, round ball. Pip had never seen a ball quite like it before. He cautiously approached it. His nose twitched as he tried to understand this new object. He sniffed it all over to learn its secrets. The ball smelled like rubber. This smell was new and intriguing to Pip. Curious, Pip nudged the ball with his nose. To his surprise, it started to roll away. It bounced gently on the grass. This made Pip bark with excitement. He started chasing after it. His little legs pumped as fast as they could carry him. He ran around and around the big tree. The red ball led him on a merry chase. It finally rolled into a patch of colorful flowers. It disappeared among the blossoms. Pip followed the ball into the flowers. His tail wagged furiously. He pushed his way through the soft petals. His nose was to the ground. He was determined to find his new toy. He was very happy when he finally found it. It was nestled among the bluebells. He gently nudged it out into the open again. Just as Pip was about to resume his game, something else caught his eye. Perched delicately on a bright yellow flower was a small bird. Its feathers were a beautiful shade of blue, like the summer sky. Pip had never seen a bird so close before. He stopped in his tracks. His playful energy was momentarily forgotten. He gazed in wonder at the tiny creature. The bluebird looked back at Pip with its bright, beady eyes. For a moment, they just stared at each other. A silent curiosity passed between them. Pip wanted to make friends. He took a very slow and careful step closer to the bird. He hoped it would stay and play. But as soon as he moved, the bluebird's wings fluttered. It gracefully lifted off the flower. It soared into the air and flew away over the garden fence. Pip watched the bird disappear. A little bit of sadness washed over him. He had really wanted to be friends with it. He looked around, hoping to see the bluebird again. But it was gone. It left Pip alone with his red ball. With a sigh, Pip picked up the ball in his mouth. Its rubbery texture was familiar and comforting. He started to wander around the garden again. The ball dangled from his mouth as he explored. His nose twitched at every new scent that the gentle breeze carried his way. As he walked, he noticed something unusual. The big wooden gate that led out of the garden was slightly open. This was something Pip had never seen before. It was always kept securely closed to keep him safe inside. Curiosity bubbled up inside him. He cautiously approached the open gate. His tail gave a tentative wag as he peeked outside. His eyes widened at the sight of the world beyond his garden walls. He saw a wide street with shiny cars driving by. They made whooshing noises. People were walking on the hard, gray sidewalk. Their legs moved quickly as they went about their day. Everything looked so different and exciting. It was unlike the familiar green of his garden. Pip had never been outside the garden before. A little bit of fear mixed with his excitement. But the lure of the unknown was too strong to resist. He dropped his red ball right there by the gate. He took a tentative step onto the sidewalk. He felt the hard, rough surface beneath his paws. It was so different from the soft grass he was used to. He looked up and down the street. He took in all the new sights and sounds. There were tall buildings that seemed to touch the sky. Green trees lined the sidewalk. Their leaves rustled in the breeze. There were colorful signs with strange symbols. Pip couldn't understand them, but he found them fascinating nonetheless. With a deep breath, Pip started to walk down the sidewalk. His little legs carried him forward. He didn't really know where he was going. Everything was so new and interesting. He just kept moving straight ahead. His nose was to the ground. He sniffed at all the interesting smells that lingered on the pavement. Suddenly, he saw a sleek, black cat. It was sitting regally on a low brick wall. Its yellow eyes watched the world go by with an air of calm indifference. Pip was always eager to make new friends. He trotted over to the wall. His tail gave a friendly wag as he looked up at the cat.
"Hello,"
barked Pip. His voice was full of friendly enthusiasm. He hoped for a playful interaction. But the cat simply blinked slowly. Its gaze was fixed on something across the street. It seemed unimpressed by Pip's friendly greeting. Pip wagged his tail a little harder. He wanted to show the cat that he meant no harm. He just wanted to be friends. But without warning, the black cat gracefully leaped off the wall. It disappeared into a nearby bush. This left Pip standing there, a little confused. He wondered what he had done wrong. He continued his walk down the street. His earlier excitement was slightly dampened by the cat's aloofness. But he soon perked up when he saw a group of children. They were playing in a small park. Their laughter echoed through the air as they ran and chased each other. Their joyful energy was infectious. Pip's tail started wagging again. He trotted towards the park. He hoped to join in their games. He barked happily as he approached them. His friendly demeanor usually won him over with new acquaintances. The children stopped their playing. They looked at Pip. Their eyes widened at the sight of the small, fluffy puppy. One of the children, a girl with bright red hair, knelt down on the grass. She had a gentle smile on her face.
"Hello, little dog,"
she said softly. She reached out her hand to pet Pip. He eagerly licked her hand in return. He was happy to receive her kind attention. Soon, all the children gathered around him. They wanted to pet his soft fur and play with him. Pip felt happy and loved. The children showered him with attention. They stroked his back and scratched behind his ears. He played with them for a while. He chased after a stick they threw. He happily brought it back to them. His tail wagged so hard his whole body wiggled with joy. But then, a loud, sudden noise startled Pip. A car honked its horn loudly nearby. The unexpected sound made him jump with fright. His happy playtime was abruptly interrupted by a surge of fear. He instinctively turned and ran away from the children. His little legs carried him as fast as they could down the street. His heart pounded in his chest. He didn't stop running until he was far away from the park and the loud noise. His sense of direction was completely lost in his panic. When he finally slowed down, he was panting heavily. He looked around. He realized with a jolt of fear that he didn't recognize anything. The street looked unfamiliar. The buildings were different. There were no familiar smells to guide him. A wave of loneliness washed over him. He realized he was completely lost. He started to whimper. A soft, sad sound escaped his throat. He missed his warm bed. He missed his familiar garden. He missed the comforting presence of his owners. A deep longing for home filled his little heart. Despite his fear, Pip knew he couldn't just stay there. He started to walk again. His nose was to the ground. He hoped to catch a scent that would lead him back to his familiar surroundings. But everything smelled strange and new. He walked for a very long time. His little legs grew tired. His tummy started to rumble with hunger. He felt small and alone in the big, bustling world around him. Eventually, he saw a small shop. It had a bright sign. People were going in and out. They carried bags of groceries and other things. Pip decided to sit down outside the shop. He hoped that someone might notice him and offer some help. He watched the people passing by. His tail gave a hopeful little wag whenever someone looked his way. But no one seemed to notice the small, lost puppy. He was sitting patiently by the shop door. After a while, a kind-looking woman came out of the shop. She carried a bag of food. She noticed Pip sitting there, looking forlorn. Her face softened with sympathy.
"Oh, you poor little dog,"
she said gently. She knelt down beside him. Her voice was full of concern. Pip sensed her kindness. He wagged his tail weakly. His eyes pleaded for help. The woman had a warm smile. She reached into her bag. She took out a small piece of bread. She offered it to Pip. He eagerly took it and ate it quickly. His hunger was momentarily satisfied by the small treat. The woman patted Pip's head softly.
"Are you lost, little one?"
she asked. Pip responded with a soft bark. He hoped she understood his plight. The woman looked around thoughtfully.
"Maybe someone is looking for you,"
she murmured. Then she stood up.
"Wait here for a moment,"
she told Pip. He sat patiently as she went back inside the shop. Pip waited anxiously. He hoped the kind woman would come back. He hoped she would help him find his way home. His little heart was filled with a mixture of hope and worry. The woman soon reappeared. To Pip's delight, she was carrying a small bowl. It was filled with fresh water. She placed it in front of him. He eagerly lapped it up. His thirst was quenched by the cool liquid. She also had a small can of dog food. She opened it and poured it into another bowl. Pip devoured the tasty food. His energy slowly returned as his hunger was satisfied. The woman smiled at him.
"There you go, little fella,"
she said. She patted him again. Then she took out her mobile phone. She started to make a call. Pip watched her. He wondered who she was talking to. He hoped it was someone who could help him. After a few minutes, she hung up. She turned back to Pip.
"I've called the local animal shelter.
She explained.
They will come and pick you up soon. They can help you find your owners."
Pip wagged his tail gratefully. He was relieved that someone was finally taking charge. He was relieved that someone was helping him. He sat beside the woman. He felt a little safer now. She continued to stroke his fur. She talked to him in a soothing voice. After what seemed like a long time, a truck pulled up to the shop. It had the words,
"Animal shelter,"
printed on its side. A friendly-looking man in a uniform got out. The kind woman explained to the man that she had found Pip. She said that he seemed to be lost. The man approached Pip with a gentle smile.
"Hello there, little guy,"
he said kindly. He carefully picked Pip up. He held him securely in his arms. Pip felt safe in the man's gentle grasp. He didn't try to wriggle away. The man placed Pip in the back of the truck. It had several other cages with different animals inside. Some meowed softly. Others barked quietly. They all looked a little lost and scared. They looked just like Pip had felt. The man drove the truck to the animal shelter. It was a big building with lots of different rooms and cages. When they arrived, Pip was taken out. He was placed in a clean, comfortable cage. It had a soft bed. It had a bowl of fresh water. It had some colorful toys. Pip felt a sense of relief wash over him. He was safe and warm. He had food and water. But a little pang of sadness still tugged at his heart. He missed his home. He missed his owners. A kind lady who worked at the shelter came by. She gave Pip some more food. She gave him a gentle pat. She told him that they would take good care of him. They would take care of him until his owners came to find him. This made Pip feel a little bit better. Days turned into weeks. Pip stayed at the animal shelter. He got regular meals. He went for short walks with the shelter workers. He played with the toys in his cage. He saw many other animals get adopted. They left with their new families. This made him happy for them. But it also made him a little bit lonely. He still hoped that his owners were looking for him. He hoped that they would come to the shelter soon. He hoped that they would take him home. One bright morning, as Pip was dozing in his bed, he suddenly heard a voice. It sounded very familiar. It was a voice he hadn't heard in what felt like a very long time.
Pip. Pip, are you here?
The voice called out. Pip's ears immediately perked up. His tail started to wag with excitement. He knew that voice. It was his owner. He jumped up. He started barking loudly. His heart pounded with joy. He ran to the front of his cage. Just then, the door to his cage opened. There, standing in the doorway, was his owner. His face beamed with happiness at the sight of Pip.
Pip. Oh, Pip. We were so worried about you.
His owner exclaimed. He reached down to pick him up. He held him in a tight embrace. Pip licked his owner's face again and again. His tail wagged so hard his whole body wiggled with pure joy. He was so happy to be in his owner's arms again. His owner explained that they had been searching everywhere for him. They had been searching since he went missing. They put up posters. They asked everyone they knew if they had seen him. It was the kind woman who had found Pip by the shop. She had seen one of their posters. She called the number on his collar. As soon as they got the call, his owner had rushed to the animal shelter. His heart was filled with hope. Now, their joyful reunion was complete. The shelter workers were all very happy. They were happy to see Pip and his owner back together. After his owner signed some papers, they put a leash on Pip. They walked out of the shelter. They were ready to go home. Pip trotted happily beside his owner. His nose twitched. He took in all the familiar smells of his neighborhood. When they turned onto their street, he saw his house in the distance. He started to run. He pulled on his leash in his eagerness to get back to his garden. His owner laughed. He let him run ahead. Pip burst through the front door and into the house. He ran from room to room. He sniffed everything to make sure it was all still the same. Then he raced into the garden. It was his favorite place in the whole world. He ran around the big tree. He chased after a butterfly. Then he spotted his red ball. It was lying exactly where he had left it by the gate. He picked it up in his mouth. He felt like everything was finally right again. His owner watched him from the doorway. He had a big smile on his face. He was relieved and happy. He was happy to have his furry friend back home safe and sound. Later that day, after a long nap, Pip curled up at his owner's feet. He felt loved and secure. His owner gently stroked his fur.
You had quite an adventure, didn't you, boy?
He said softly. Pip just snuggled closer. His tail gave a little thump on the floor. He was content to be home where he belonged. From that day on, Pip never wandered outside the garden gate again. He never wandered outside unless he was on a leash with his owner. He continued to enjoy his days playing with his ball. He chased butterflies. He explored all the wonderful smells in his familiar green paradise. He was always happy to come back inside. He was happy to come back to his warm bed. He was happy to come back to the loving arms of his owner. They lived happily together for many years. Their bond was strengthened by their brief separation. Their bond was strengthened by their joyful reunion.